one shield, one melee weapon, and one pair of lovely booties. In this video, we're going to explore 3 new weapon concepts for Demoknight. Demoknight is perhaps the most distinct and established subclass in the game, but there isn't as much variation in his playstyle as you might hope, considering the fact that there are 5 main melee weapons and 3 shields to choose from. Today, we are going to fix that, and when I say fix, I mean break, obviously, because I can assure you all of these concepts will probably be broken. I do tend to enjoy exploring the more extreme ideas rather than the more subtle, stat-tweaking concepts. I find these more crazy ideas can often lead to some really interesting things. So, I've been searching through the workshop for inspiration, and I have picked some of my favourite weapon models to share with you. I always like to use this series as an opportunity to showcase some of the amazing work from the workshop, as so much of it goes criminally unnoticed. The links to all this amazing content are in the description below. Before we start, I wanted to say a massive thank you to the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. It sounds like a meme, but it's true. They have actually kindly sponsored me. I'm sure you've all heard of Raid Shadow Legends. It's a free RPG style game for PC and mobile. Use the link below to claim your free reward of 100,000 silver and a free epic champion. And it's one of those games you can quickly jump into if you only have, say, 15 minutes or so. The first thing that struck me was the awesome hero and character design. My personal favourite was Athel. I just loved her kit, she just looked awesome. There's a massive campaign to play through and quite a lot of depth if you like to get into the nitty gritty with a game like this, as it allows you to customise every aspect of your champion and get really strategic with what you bring to the battlefield. New to the game is a huge champion update, tweaking and rebalancing over 20 different champions to make PvP arena battles even more competitive. On top of this, the Forge just came out, which is a new way to craft top quality artifacts so you can start competing right away. Support my channel by downloading Raid Shadow Legends using the link below, and if you're a new player, you can claim your 100,000 silver and a free epic champion, who also looks pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. You will find your rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days. Concept number 1. The Battered Ram, a shield that gives you a longer charge duration, and the charge is not stopped when you hit enemy players, and it also gives you more damage and knockback when you hit the enemies, but it does not grant any resistances. Now that sounds pretty awesome. How cool would this be? An offensive shield option that allows you to plow through the enemies to disrupt them and knock them back, the downside being that you are way more vulnerable than the typical Demoknight. I found this model by Segab and W on the workshop. It was called the Battering Ram, so I just tweaked the name. I thought this model perfectly fits this idea. In fact, some of the stats that they suggest on the workshop page were way better than my original idea too, so I just full on stole them. As always, I'm keeping my ideas fairly high level, and I try to avoid using precise stats, but if you have any ideas or thoughts about this one, then let me know in the comments below. Concept number 2, the Hammered Head, a large 2-handed weapon that has a super long melee range and a really long swing, which can hit multiple players and deals an insane amount of damage. The downside, you cannot use a shield with this weapon, and it has an incredibly slow attack speed. This one on the workshop was called the Crown Crusher, and this beautiful model was created by Epic Style. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not too sure about the name I chose. I just wanted to get the word hammered in there somewhere because in the UK at least, it means drunk. Now, this concept purely started out from the fact that I wanted a weapon that was so big and heavy that you couldn't even use a shield with it. You know how in your typical RPGs, you get to pick a character and you have the shield bearing character, and then you have the one with the mahoosive off 2-handed weapon. This is where the idea came from. The weapon is really slow, but if you time your swings right, it can be lethal. Think of the Scotsman skull cutter, but taken to the extreme. Maybe it could 2-shot 200 HP targets? That's probably broken, I don't know. You let me know in the comments below. I also quite liked the idea of it hitting multiple targets and having a bigger area of effect, although it's not often you're surrounded by enemies, so this would be a very situational stat, but it could lead to some really cool moments. Concept number 3, the Flying Scotsman, by far the best name so far. Hit the ground beneath your feet with your melee weapon to blast jump. Pick up metal to reset your charge. does not deal any self-damage. That one is kind of up for debate. And of course, it does not grant any speed or health bonus like the other boots do. What do you think? This might be the most ridiculous one we're going to talk about today, but I kind of love it. I was thinking about how we could introduce an alternative high-skill mobility option for the Demoknight, aside from charging and of course shrimping. I was wondering, is there a place for blast jumping as a Demoknight? This weapon trades in the speed and health buffs you get with the normal boots for vertical mobility and utility, which actually I don't think is too unreasonable. I mean, more health and speed is a massively powerful perk, so trading that in for intermittent blast jumping doesn't seem too mad, but it's difficult to imagine all the different consequences without testing it out. And maybe this is just going a bit too far when you've already got the shield for mobility or that ridiculous hammer we just invented a minute ago. This was another one created by Epic Style, and in the workshop they are simply called the Blast Boots. Remember, links to all these can be found in the description below. Now, with Demoknight, you have to pay particular attention to how all of his weapons work together, as it's very easy to create some kind of monster. Just imagine the insane things you could do by having both the ability to blast jump and charge in quick succession. It would be so much fun, although you can kind of do this already if you're playing as Hybrid Knight. I also love the fact that it's just simply a couple of bits of dynamite strapped to his boots. That's amazing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Bonus concept. Excuse me. Dutch Courage, another great name. Build your courage meter as you deal damage. When your courage meter is full, click to grant temporary additional speed and resistance. And the downside is that this item would be used instead of your boots. Now, I've not fleshed this concept out quite as much as the others, which were barely fleshed out either, to be honest, but I like the idea of a buff banner-esque item for the Demoknight. A weapon that trades in the more permanent perks that the boots provide with a temporary but more potent speed and resistant buff, allowing you to go on a short, drunken, insane rampage. This model is by Vlek and is called a Barrel of Inspiring Beverage, and as soon as I saw the model, the idea of Dutch Courage came to mind, and I thought, how cool would it be, how perfectly fitting would it be if the Demoman would take a swig of a brew before diving headfirst into battle? It would be amazing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Every time I make one of these videos, there are exactly 38,000 other cool things that I discover in the workshop that I want to share with you. But today, I've been very strict with myself and I've narrowed it down to 3. Okay, 4. 1. The Dynamighty and the Double Claymore. How cool would these be? Perhaps Caber reskins or new weapons? I don't know. They look freaking awesome though. Number 2. The Firewall. I thought this shield and the entire set looked really cool. Perhaps this could be like an anti-pyro loadout. What about a weapon that reduces how much you get air blasted away? I know how painful that can be for Demoknights. And number 3, the Whiplash Crash. Because imagine if there was a nice loud cymbal noise every time you whacked someone over the head with this thing. Okay, it's not really Demoknight related, but it still looked really cool, okay? Leave me alone. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thanks for watching. A special thank you to all my Patreons, and make sure to join me on Twitch if you don't already. Links in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next one.